Hello, this is Jackie with Panama Relocation Tours, and thank you for joining me for our Saturday live stream. Today I'm going to talk about why move to Panama. After I talk about some of the main reasons that people would even consider a move to Panama, then I'm going to open it up for your questions. I have a couple of announcements to make before I get started. First of all, I want to thank Debbie. You see Chuck and Debbie on there. It's actually Debbie, not Chuck, for being our moderator. She's here almost every Saturday and Wednesday when she's available. And so she kind of keeps control of the conversations that are going on over on the sidebar because I'm busy talking and I can't pay attention to it all the time. So thank you so much, Debbie, for being our moderator. I also want to thank, I see many names that are here every single Saturday or every Wednesday, and they have been for years and years and years. And I want to thank all of our returning customers for coming back. Thank you so much. And I'm seeing a lot of new names too. Just recently, we've been seeing a lot of new names, so thank you for being here. I want to make I know you guys have heard about our online Panama relocation guide. It's like a home study course for how to move to Panama. If you subscribe to our newsletter at PanamaRelocationTours.com, let me pop it up here. If you go to Panama Relocation Tours and if you subscribe to our newsletter between now and the 20th, just 4 more days, everybody that subscribes, we're going to pick 3 winners that are going to get a free online Panama relocation guide. So right after the live stream, or even right now, head on over to our website at Panama Relocation Tours and subscribe to win a free online Panama relocation guide. That'll also get you access to our private Facebook group, which has a lot of conversations that go on about different places. You know, where do you buy this? Where do you buy that? What do you think about this area? What do you think about that area? You know, people sharing their experience with immigration attorneys or real estate agents or doctors. It's just a wealth of information for anybody that's considering a move to Panama. And you can get the online guide for free if you just subscribe to our newsletter at Panama Relocation Tours. You have to do it before midnight on the 20th to be entered into this drawing for 3 free newsletters. So just a little bit of background. My name's Jackie Lang, the owner of Panama Relocation Tours. And since 2010, we've been helping people move to Panama the right way. We do that with our all-inclusive 6-day, 7-night Panama Relocation Tours. We also do private tours. And as I mentioned earlier, our online Panama Relocation Guide. You can learn about all of those things on our website at PanamaRelocationTours.com. So without further ado, I'm going to talk about some of the main reasons why you should consider moving to Panama. There are so many great places to move to, but these are some of the reasons why I personally picked Panama as a place to move to and why I think that you should also consider Panama. So back in, I think it was 2007, 2008, I was living in Texas. I had a house in Dallas and I had a house over in East Texas. By the way, I see some questions popping up already. Please hold off on your questions until I finish those top 10 reasons on why to move to Panama. And after that, then I'll get to your questions. So hold off on the questions, please. So anyway, back to the story. I was in Texas and the summers are brutally hot in Texas. I'm talking 110, 115 degrees in the summer, sometimes for 2-3 months straight. So your air conditioner's just running all the time. So one of my personal criteria for finding a place to move to overseas was to live in a place where I would never need an air conditioner again. So I did a bunch of research, and there's a lot of places where you can live where you don't need an air conditioner, and I even visited 10 different countries before I picked Panama. But there's a lot more things that you need to take into consideration than just the weather or the cost of living. Those are very important things, but some really important things to take into consideration is the strength of the economy and also the stability of the government. So when I was doing research for places like Argentina or Ecuador or Mexico or other places, they were all good places to move to, But Panama just stood out because their economy is so strong. And one of the reasons their economy is so strong is because it has multiple sources of income. I know the Panama Canal, they think, oh, they make all their money from the Panama Canal, but actually they don't. It's only about 25% of the income for the country comes in from the Panama Canal. They also do a lot of exports. They have the second largest free trade zone in the world, which produces an enormous amount of money for the country. The largest ship registry, a lot of corporation renewals. There's just a lot of different ways that Panama makes money. So if any one of them was to slow down a little bit, like it did earlier in the year, whenever we had, in our dry season, sometimes they have to reduce the number of ships that go through the Panama Canal. So people think, oh my gosh, Panama's over because not as many ships are going through. But you don't have to worry because Panama has so many other sources of income. And they actually, even though they reduced the number of ships going through for about 3 or 4 months, the canal made more money this year than it made the year before. So it does just fine. So that strengthened the economy is a really good reason when you're doing your research about where to move to pick Panama. The other thing is our government. In some other countries, it's either far left or far right. But not in Panama. In Panama, everything's just kind of right down the middle. They do lean a bit more conservative, that's for sure. The people and the government lean more conservative, but there's not this big division in Panama like there is in other countries. People just get along. They do complain. The people, they're very vocal, or with protest and other things, they'll complain if they think the government's doing something wrong. But you don't see that so much in other countries. But in Panama, it's just stable. The government's stable. The economy is very strong. So those are 2 reasons, strong reasons, on why I think you should consider moving to Panama. Another reason is that it's just more affordable. I visit the United States maybe once a year. I go to Texas to see my family, or even I go to Mexico or some other countries, and I'm always comparing prices. And the prices in Panama are just so much better than they are in other places. I wouldn't say it's 50% less on everything, but it's significantly cheaper to live in Panama in many ways. That's provided that you buy Panamanian brands. If you go to a grocery store and you want to get some name brand imported item, it's going to cost just as much or more perhaps as it does where you live right now. But if you go with the Panama brand instead, then you can save a lot of money. Hey, Anita, if you could just hold off on the questions until after, and Roz, hold off on your questions. I just have a couple more things to talk about, and then I'll open it up for your questions. So it's more affordable. That's another big reason. The other exciting thing about Panama, I think, is that it's a small country, and you can literally drive from one end of the country to the other end of the country in less than a day. You can drive from the Pacific Ocean to the Caribbean side in a few hours. So it's just a small country, and that's fun because you can literally change your environment. I live in the mountains, but in an hour and 20 minutes, I could be at the Pacific Ocean if I wanted to be. So you can choose where you want to live. You can live in a big city like Panama City. You can live at the beach. Panama is 1,500 miles of coastline, so there's a lot of different beach communities that you can choose from. You can live in the mountains like I do. There's some real cute little colonial towns like Pedicey or Las Tablas, or even live on an island. There's plenty of people who live over in the Bocas del Toro on the island. So there's something for everybody here in Panama, regardless of what your budget is also. Whether your income is $1,000 a month and that's all you have to live on, you can do that here in Panama. Some of you have $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. You can do that too, but you don't have to. You don't have to spend that much money. So it's affordable, and there's something here to fit every single budget and every lifestyle. The other thing that I think is really makes Panama stand out is their easy visa programs. To get the pensionado visa, you only need to show that you have $1,000 a month in lifetime income for one person, or $1,250 a month. That's in US dollars for a couple. You also need to show a pretty clean criminal report. If you had a misdemeanor, a few little dings, that's fine. If you had a felony, you're not going to be able to get a visa in Panama. But the visa is easy. Initially, you're here for like 5 days in Panama, 3 to 5 days. You'll walk away with your provisional or your temporary visa. And the temporary visa, within 6 months, you'll have a permanent visa. Some of the other visas, like the Friendly Nation visa, it could take 2 years to get your permanent visa. Meanwhile, you get the honor and the privilege of living in this beautiful country. So their visa programs are straightforward. It doesn't take very much money to qualify for these visas. And when you do get the pensionado visa, another reason to live in Panama is you get what's called the pensionado discounts, also known as the jubilado discounts, which can save you even more money. You get 25% off of airfare to anywhere in the world. I love to travel now that the pandemic has slowed down and take full advantage of that. Also, you get 50% off if you go to a movie theater. Movie theaters are so cheap anyway. It's like $4 or $5 to see a movie. But if you can get half price, why not take it? Also, 20% off at restaurants, 20% off of your utility bills. Just the savings go on and on ways that you can save money, in addition to the lower prices. The other big advantage of Panama is the weather. Now, right now, we're in the rainy season of Panama, and there's been a tropical storm that's been off the Caribbean coast that's dumped a lot of rain on us. But normally in Panama, the weather is great. We don't have snow. We don't have hurricanes. We don't have tornadoes. And the weather, you can really pick your ideal weather based on the elevation. If you live at the sea level or the coast, it's about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, plus or minus 5. For every 1,000 foot increase in elevation, the temperature is going to drop 4 degrees. So you can just do the math and pick your ideal temperature. I live at about 4,000 feet, so my daytime temperatures are in the mid 70s, maybe a little bit higher. Rarely gets up to 80 degrees, and for me, that's just right. For you, it might be too cold, so you can just go to a lower elevation and you can live the way you want to live. The other big advantage for Panama is that it's a travel hub. From Panama City, you can go to anywhere in the world. Many nonstop flights to Paris, to Germany, to England, to Canada, to the United States. There's many nonstop flights that leave out of Panama City. So if you're from North America, the US or Canada, which many of my audience is, there's probably a nonstop flight close to where you live, or like if I go see my kids, it's a nonstop flight to see my kids to Austin, Texas, or Houston, Texas. But there's also flights to Atlanta and Denver and many other places in North America. And another reason to pick Panama is that it has a 365-day growing season for their food. That's important because some places, their food costs really go up because they have to import so much food. Panama doesn't have to import a lot of food because they grow so much of the food right here. Now, there's a few things they don't grow, like apples and grapes. There's a few things that they don't grow here, but your routine vegetables, they grow right here in Panama, so that keeps the cost down. It's super, super fresh whenever you're buying it. Also, we get fish from 2 oceans. Of course, we have chickens and cows and pigs and all those other things here too. So you have a reliable food supply here in Panama. And those are the main reasons that I think you should consider, from my notes, those are the main reasons that I think you should consider moving to Panama. I have several articles on my website at Panama Relocation Tours, like top 10 reasons to move to Panama, top 12 reasons to move to Panama. So you can check those out for some additional things to think about on why you should pick Panama. But the only way to know if Panama is really right for you, no matter how good it looks on paper, no matter how good any country looks on paper, you have to go see it to know if it's right for you. We'd be glad to help you with one of our Panama relocation tours. However, they're sold out until like May of next year. So the next best thing is to take a private tour. Private tours are about $250 a day for up to 2 people. And you can explore, we have them all over the country, so you can explore the area that interests you the most. If you're a beach person, you just want to check out beach towns. If you only want to be in the mountains where the weather's cooler, you can just do mountain towns or only do Panama City with our private tours. You can check those out also on our website. Just search for private tours whenever you go to Panama Relocation Tours. So that's my big speech that I had. Now there's one other thing I want to know. It's confusing for me, and I know it's confusing for you, for us to have two different start times. Our Wednesday Q&A was starting a little bit later in the day, and then our Saturday was starting earlier in the day. I think it's confusing for everybody if we have two different start times. So I'd like your comments in the chat window. Would you prefer to start at 5 p.m. Central? Or would you prefer to start at 6 p.m. Central? That's for both live streams, and I want to make it the same time for both live streams. And so you let me know which one's better for you. So now, without further ado, I'm going to get to your questions about moving to Panama. What you'll need to do is type in 3 question marks in front of your question, and then I'll pop it up on the screen and I'll answer it for you. So Rebecca says 5 p.m. Central. Some people say 6. I'm going to look through all of the chat later on because I can't do it right now. And I'll just do the average on who wants 5 and who wants 6. So Francine says, does the PRT bus have a bathroom on it? During the tour, we only pass through the Nobe Bugli Reserve, correct? So the tour bus does not have a bathroom. When we custom built the tour bus, and we had the choice to put a bathroom on it, but we decided that it was more important for us to just stop like every hour and a half or so. And if you need to go to the bathroom sooner, you just raise your hand, let the tour guides know, and they'll stop sooner. But it's good to just stop every once in a while and stretch your feet. We do only pass through the Nobe Bugli area. There's not really a reason to stop there for anything. Louisa says, how do you get the pensionado discount when you purchase airfare? Do you have to reserve on the phone? So the easiest way to get the pensionado discount, by the way, for airfare, you can't get it until you get your permanent visa. The easiest way is to use a Panama travel agent to get the discount. You can also book it on the airline and just reserve it, and then you have to call their office in Panama City, like Copa Airlines, American Airlines, or whatever, and then they'll issue you the discount from there. And if your question scrolls off the screen before I get to it, you might have to type it in 2 or 3 times before I get to it. But I'm going to get to all the questions as fast as I can. We had so many questions on Wednesday, I just couldn't possibly get to them, and that's why I'm doing another Q&A today on Saturday. So Debbie says, how is the healthcare system? I personally think the healthcare system is fantastic. They actually saved my life when I got COVID really, really bad. The doctors and the nurses were fantastic, and they saved my life. I just got an email today from someone that had an amazing experience with a doctor in Panama City. And I've asked her if I can share it with people, but I'm not going to share her experience until I get permission to. Tasha says, is it safe to drive through Mexico to get to Panama with kids and pets? So there we have had several people, Panama Relocation Tour clients, that have driven from North America to Panama with pets and kids and everything, and they haven't had any problems. We have 2 videos about that, about trips that happened last year in 2023. One is some people that it took, I think, 7 days to get here. Another was 2 women that came down together with their dogs, and they decided to take a leisurely trip and explore Mexico a little bit, so it took them a month. But they wanted to take the time to do just a road trip while they were at it. So look for those videos on our YouTube channel. Karen wants to know, can you get dual citizenship, a U.S. passport and a Zonian citizenship? Yes, you can. You can have both. Someone asked if guns are legal in Panama. I can't pop that up. Guns are legal in Panama, but you can't take possession of a gun until you have a gun permit, and you can't get a gun permit until you have your permanent visa. Inside of our online Panama relocation guide, we have a list of the 23 things you have to do to be able to get a gun permit in Panama, and it will take about 4 months to get the gun permit. You should also know that you cannot import guns into the country currently, so you have to buy any guns here in Panama. The cost of a 20 to 40-foot container from Miami to, you're going to have to contact the international moving companies that we work with to get a quote from them. I can tell you that just a ballpark figure would be about $10,000 for 20 foot and maybe $15,000 for 40 foot. That's ballpark. I don't know the exact number. You'd have to talk to a moving company. And do strangers live together as roommates like in the U.S.? Yes, it's pretty common. You see it all the time advertised on Facebook, especially in Panama City, that people are just renting out a room. Maybe they have a 3-bedroom apartment in Panama City and they're renting out a room. I saw a beautiful one today. It was only $350 a month. So Jan says, how long before I can take your tour? I need to start seeing about getting my passport. So yeah, you need to get your passport first, and then you can plan on taking a tour. Keep in mind, we're sold out until May right now. You can get on the backup list if you wanted to come before May, and we'll notify you if we get an opening. But if you're thinking about coming on a tour, you know, June, July, August, or any of those time frames, I would suggest that you go ahead and reserve your spot. It takes $500 per person to reserve a spot on a tour, because we are selling out, you know, 4 or 5 months in advance. So it'd be a good idea to definitely save your tour spot. Where is your website on the place to sign up for the free tour? So you're not signing up for a free tour. You're signing up for a free online Panama relocation guide. And you just go right here, PanamaRelocationTours.com. You'll see where it says, you know, sign up for our newsletter, and you get 15 free lessons about moving to Panama, so you'll learn even more about moving to Panama. So that's where you sign up. So if you take your U.S. driver's license to get your Panama license, did they take an eye exam? So whenever you go to get your Panama driver's license, you get to keep your license from another country. Don't worry about that. You are going to have to do an eye test and a hearing test to get a Panama driver's license. Rose says 6 p.m. Central. Are there senior citizen discounts? What is a good area for single women? There are senior discounts. I talked about that at the beginning of the live stream. So you might want to listen to the replay of this, and you get like 25% off airfare, 20% off restaurants, half price at movie theaters, 25% off your electric bill. There's a lot. You can also search on our website for pensionado discounts as a way to save a lot of money, and have an article about some of the other savings. Frank wants to know, I'm in the process of getting my criminal background check and income verification. Realistically, how long does the pensionado take? So once you get your criminal background and your income verification, the next thing you're going to do, if you're from the United States, you should get it authenticated at the Panama consulate. That just takes a couple of days. If you're from Canada, you would need to get an apostille in the province that you're from. So that might take a week or two. And then once you come to Panama to get your visa, you're going to have that visa, walk away with a visa in your hand in 5 days or less. Anita says, tried but couldn't book a tour for May 16th. It says on sale now. I could book May 23rd. So go ahead and book for May 23rd and 30th, and then get on the backup list for the 16th and the 23rd. The only place that you can book a tour is on the thing where it says book a tour. That's the only place where you can book a tour. But as soon as we get an opening, then we'll notify you about the May 16th and 23rd. If you're on the backup list, you're going to be the only people that are going to learn about an opening. If you're not on the backup list, you're never going to know when we get an opening for one of the tours. Is there medical marijuana? Not in Panama. Medical marijuana was approved, but only for certain cases here in Panama, like if you're epileptic, terminal cancer, things like that, then they approve medical marijuana for use, but it's not the routine use like you're used to in the United States. Will the new hospital in Boquete be open in March? And we'll be able to register for Medicare Advantage. So first of all, they are building a new hospital in Boquete, but it's a public hospital. It's supposed to be open by March, but this is Panama. So when it opens is when it opens. We don't know when exactly that's going to be. They will not take Medicare Advantage at any of the public hospitals. They only take Medicare Advantage at the private hospitals, and the closest private hospital to Boquete, where they already accept Medicare Advantage, is Hospital Cherokee in David. We have a video about that on our YouTube channel. You said there was lists coming out of which hospitals took insurances. We have TRICARE for Life. Please let us know when the list will be available. So that list is already available in our online Panama relocation guide. And it's that you would search, if you already have the online guide, which insurance is accepted where. So that's in our online guide, and I'll put that information out there in other places. Right now it's in the online guide, and we're adding more hospitals between now and the end of the year. Is it possible to drive for use to Panama? I don't understand the question. You're going to have to rephrase it, please. Do you need an adapter for U.S. electronics? Nope, you don't need an adapter for U.S. electronics. Stacy says, I'm set for the PRT on April 11th. How do I pay additional money for the trip, or do I wait until a month before? You can pay in full right now, or you can wait until a month before, but you can't make like monthly payments. Tried but couldn't book. I already saw that one. Next question. I work virtually, and it's really worrying me that the power goes out a lot there. My business would die out if that happened. What would my options be, especially in a rental? So if you have a rental, what a lot of people do is they have ups, so that keeps your internet going for a little while. But you could also just have a small generator that you use to keep the power going. Also, some places get more power outages than others, and you should know that the president of Panama, President Molino, he's given the electric companies the ultimatum that if they don't improve this electrical system in 6 months, he's going to fine them big bucks. So they're really working on replacing transformers and getting the whole electrical system to be more stable. I get Social Security. How can I receive my check if I move to Panama? So Julie, what you can do is you can have your Social Security direct deposited into your bank account in Panama. We have an article about that on our website. So if you just go to Panama Relocation Tours and search Social Security, there's a form. After you open up your Panama bank account, there's a form you fill out that you send to Social Security, and they'll direct deposit right into your Panama bank account. A lot of people do that. Do hospitals in Panama still require COVID vaccine proof or PCR tests? The hospitals do not require proof of vaccine or PCR test. However, some of the Panama insurance companies still require you to be COVID vaccinated for you to get insurance. Not all of them, but some insurances in Panama do. Can I use my VA disability as proof of income? Absolutely. You can use your VA disability. Reminder, it has to be at least, for the pensionado visa, it needs to be at least $1,000 a month in lifetime income, or $1,250 if you're applying with your spouse. Myra says, are there gated communities with golf courses in Boquete and the surrounding area? There are 2 gated communities that have a golf course in Boquete. One is called Valle Escondido. It's only a 9-hole golf course, but it's a beautiful, beautiful community real close to downtown Boquete. The other one is called Lucera. It's a little bit south of town. It's an 18-hole championship golf course and with ocean views. and it's a beautiful gated community also. What are the steps to get the pensionado visa? How do I get my FBI background check, and then what? So, you can get your FBI background check by, if you go to FBI approved Chandler, it has a list of companies where you can go in and get electronic fingerprints. You usually have your report in 1 hour. You're also going to need your income verification, like Social Security or pension from a job or government pension. And then both of those documents need to be authenticated by the Panama consulate. We have details about how to do it in our online Panama relocation guide. Louisa said, when using a VPN to watch TV, do you watch it on your computer, laptop, or is there a way to use it on the TV? So I just use it on the TV. I have an Amazon Fire Stick, and with my Amazon Fire Stick, I can click on turn on the VPN, and then when I turn on the VPN, I can watch Amazon Prime, I can watch Apple TV, Netflix, or any of those things. So I don't have to watch it on my computer. Do condos in Panama City have HOA fees? They do have HOA fees in the condos. Any condo complex is going to have HOA fees. If you're just renting, that's included in your rent. But if you buy it, then you're going to have a fee. In September, the U.S. State Department increased the travel advisory to level 2. Is it something I need to be concerned about? If you read that advisory, it wasn't for all of Panama. It was only for what they call the Mosquito Coast and the Darien Gap areas. So if you're not going to those areas, you don't have anything to worry about. If we found a place to lease during our visa visit, can we lease it within 10-day window of our visit? Sure. If you find the right place to lease, you can go ahead and lease it. You don't even have to have a visa to lease a place in Panama. It's just if you're a tourist from North America, you can only stay in Panama for 180 days as a tourist. So you want to get that visa so you can live in Panama indefinitely. Anita says, if the May 16th or 23rd is on sale now, how can I get on the backup list? So if you go to our website, and there is a big red banner at the top that says book a tour. If you click on that, and then click on tour dates, or you could also just search for tour dates, there's a place where you can get on the backup list right there. The other thing you can do is just go to our website and click on backup list at the top, and that'll take you right to the page where you can get on the backup list. Do they have FDIC insurance when you deposit your money? There is no FDI insurance in Panama. What most people do in Panama is they don't put all their eggs in one basket. So you diversify, and you have 2 different bank accounts, or maybe 3 different bank accounts at different banks. Is it possible to drive from the U.S. to Panama? It is possible. We have 2 videos on our YouTube channel, interviews of people that did exactly that. They drove from the United States to Panama. Can I rent a car in Panama with only a U.S. driver's license? You can rent a car in Panama with just your U.S. driver's license, but you should know that as a tourist with a foreign driver's license, you're only allowed to drive the first 90 days that you're in Panama. Oops. Michelle says, I just purchased my guide. Thank you very much. Will I still be able to attend my Zoom meetings around the world that I attend now in the U.S.? Absolutely, you can. No problem at all. I do Zooms all the time. Do most Social Security letters mention income for life? The Social Security letter is not going to mention income for life. So what you have to do is you have to attach an affidavit to it that says, I swear that this Social Security that I'm going to get, $1,950 is going to be for the rest of my life. You sign that in front of a notary, you attach that to your income verification, then you turn it into the Panama consulate to be authenticated. And I know you already have our online Panama relocation guide where we have a sample of that affidavit that you're going to need. Jane says, do you have to call Medicare directly to get proof of lifetime pension, or can you use the personal login No, you can use your login. I don't know about the Medicare Direct. If you have any questions about Medicare or Medicare Advantage, inside of our online Panama relocation guide, we have recommendations of two specialists for Medicare Advantage for expats. If you don't have the online guide and you need that information, you can email me at info@panamarelocationtours.com, and I'll be glad to just send you their contact information. And it's a little bit of an urgent situation because you only have until December the 7th, I think is the cutoff this year, for you to switch from Medicare to a Medicare Advantage plan. So it's really important for you to contact one of these agents as quickly as possible. Is there senior living facilities in Panama? There is. I just did an article last month about assisted living facilities or senior living facilities. So if you go to our website and just search assisted living, then you'll see one of the cream of the crop. One of the really, really nice ones is called Insignia in Panama City. There are some other ones. There's two in Boquete. There's one being built in Volcan. But check out that article and you'll see more information about it. My wife is a disabled veteran. She doesn't do a lot of walking. Do you think that the bus tour is still advisable? You need to contact me and give me a little bit more information. We do have 4 steps to get on and off the bus. So I don't know if she can maneuver the steps or not, but send an email to info@Panama Relocation Tours and give me a little bit more information. Then I can tell you if the group tour would be okay or if a private tour would be better. I booked a tour and signed up for a cancellation, but I didn't pay anything or see where to pay. So if you're having some questions about signing up or canceling a tour, just send an email to info@panamarelocationtours.com. Got to take a break, 1 minute. Shirley says, my husband wants to wait as long as possible to submit in retirement. Can we be accepted on my pension only? So yes, you can be accepted on your pension only if your pension is at least $1,250, then you can both qualify for a visa just based on your pension. Ginger says, how long is the FBI background check accepted from date of issuance? So from the date the FBI report was issued or the income verification was issued or any of your documents are issued, they cannot be more than 6 months old when you apply for a visa. And I would not advise that you wait until the last week before they're going to expire because things happen sometimes and there's a bit of delay. I just did that question. Here's another one. 6 p.m. is who does your beautiful hair, Jackie? What U.S. bank is recommended? So I used to go to this Panamanian lady for a long time that did my hair, and it was just always long and straight. You say, I want layers, and they just don't seem to understand the concept of layers here. So there's a new guy that moved into town that I went to only once that gave me some good layers and little bit of a different hair color. And he's really good. So when you get here, I'll share his information. What U.S. bank is recommended to keep if you want to keep a U.S. bank? So any of them. I wouldn't do the credit unions because credit unions make it a little bit more difficult sometimes to wire money to Panama. So make sure the bank that you're with has no problems for you just going online and wiring money from your U.S. bank to your Panama bank. And what specific calling text data plan do you use to port your phone to the U.S.? So I use Skype, but this is back in 2010. I used Skype to port my U.S. phone over to Skype. That was a long time ago. Many people use Google Voice. Deanna says, I've already searched the PRT website for pets, but I need to know if my dog's rabies vaccination has to be within 30 days of entry or how many days. So the rabies vaccines, for you to get the health certificate, I'm pretty sure that the rabies vaccine can't be more than 30 days old. but I'm not sure about that. It's best for you to search the moving, shipping my pets, moving my pets, and then I have a link to an article about vaccinations. Is the new hospital in Panama completed? The new hospital is going to be a public hospital, and it's not finished yet. That's why I'm saying the hospital in Boquete, they say maybe March. Well, maybe March, maybe not March. We'll see. When it opens is when it opens. And when it does open, I'm going to send my videographer right over there to get some videos for you to show you what it's like inside. Would you like that? I think you would. Next question is, do you know if the new hospital getting built in Boquete will be regular full-service facility or will it be small like urgent? So it's a pretty big hospital. I don't know what all they're going to be able to do at that hospital. When we get closer to the completion, then I'll have a lot more details, and I'll be sure to share it with all of you in an email, and then we'll also do a video of the hospital and show you what's there. Do you have any comparisons of Panama versus Costa Rica? I actually wrote an article about Panama versus Costa Rica on my website. Now, that was my experience, 10 years ago, but why I chose Panama over Costa Rica and why Costa Rica was taken off my list. So look for that article, Panama versus Costa Rica. How long is the authentication of a foreign driver's license valid? Someone asked me that question before, and honestly, I don't know the answer, but my guess is, like most things in Panama, that it can't be more than 6 months old. And there's really, once you get that authentication of your foreign driver's license at the embassy in Panama City, you should immediately the next day get the re-authentication from the Ministry of Foreign Relations, and there's no reason to not go and get your driver's license that afternoon. So you can do the whole thing in 2 or 3 days. So just take care of all of it while you're here instead of letting it linger and possibly expire. So, by the way, if any of you jumped in here a little bit late, I do have a quick announcement to make that I made in the beginning. If you subscribe to our newsletter right here, whoops, that's not it, over here at PanamaRelocationTours.com, we have a link on there for you to sign up for our newsletter where you'll get 15 free lessons about moving to and living in Panama. Talks about banking, bringing your pets here, the weather, health insurance, all kinds of different things. If you subscribe to our newsletter between now and the 20th, so we only got 4 more days, then you're going to be entered into a drawing to get free access to our online Panama relocation guide. We're actually going to give away 3 online Panama relocation guides to people that subscribe to our newsletter between now and the 20th. And the online Panama relocation guide is like a home study course on how to move to Panama. It has a list of all of our immigration attorneys, has the real estate agents that we work with, health insurance agents we work with, people to help you buy a car, 17 important questions to ask before you sign a lease. Just all the information that you need, getting a driver's license, everything you need to know about moving to Panama is in that online guide. What's the name of the assisted living facilities in Boquete? So you're going to have to look at the article about assisted living, and I have a link to the ones in Boquete, and you can see the name of it there and more information. Kelly says, when use of your Fire Stick and TV, is the VPN on your phone or on the Fire Stick? So the VPN is on my Fire Stick. So I just scroll over to, I use NordVPN, click on Nord, tell it to connect. It happens like that. And then I go to Amazon Prime or whatever else that I want to watch that requires the VPN. Do the private hospitals take Medicare gap policies instead of Advantage? They do not. I work from home. Can I continue in Panama? Absolutely. The only thing you cannot do in Panama, the rules in Panama are very strict. A foreigner cannot work in Panama selling products in Panama or selling services in Panama unless you have a work permit. If you're selling products outside of the country or services outside of the country to people that don't live in Panama, no problem. You can do that. But you cannot work from home and sell products in Panama or services in Panama until you get your work permit. And I can tell you right now, it's taken 6 to 12 months to get a work permit, and you can't even apply for it until you get your permanent visa. Do you typically pay your security and first month's rent? Yeah, typically rent is going to be security deposit and first month's rent. Some people ask for last month's rent also and just tell them, nope, I'm not going to do it unless you absolutely love the place, but most of the time you only need to pay the security deposit and the first month's rent. Howard wants to know, are there many rentals in Cerro Azul? I was in Cerro Azul about 3 or 4 months ago, and I saw quite a few rentals, and they range from $500 to $1,500 and everything in between. So there's quite a few rentals. We already have one private tour guide in the Cerro Azul area. We're getting ready to add another private tour guide that has access to a lot of rentals that are not listed with a real estate agent, so you'll probably be able to get a better deal. As soon as we add that other private tour guide, then I'll let you know with our emails. Myra says, well, on the PRT, we visited several rentals. None had electric stoves or ovens or gas. It's pretty standard to just have a gas stove, and it's really a plus to have a gas stove, because if, for example, your electricity is out, you can still cook. You can still cook dinner. You can still boil water to make your coffee in a French press. So it's really preferred in Panama to have a gas that's actually propane stove. Belinda says, is the November discount on your Panama relocation guide valid all month? It was just a flash sale that we had last week, but keep an eye out for Black Friday after Thanksgiving. We might be having another sale. Is there a veterinary cardiologist there? So there are veterinarians for sure. If there's a veterinarian cardiologist, I really don't know if there is or not. It depends on where you live. Panama City would probably have one. David would probably have one, but not in other areas. How do we get the letter from Social Security regarding our monthly income? So you can just log into ssa.gov, enter your contact information. You can print out your income verification letter right there. That's one way to get it. The other way is you can call Social Security and tell them that you would like to have Form 2458, which is a signed income verification letter, and they'll mail it to you. So there's two ways. Becky says, how often do you update your guide? So I update it at least once a month. I just did an update last week in the online guide, and I have another one that I'm sending out tomorrow. So sometimes it's twice a month, sometimes it's once a month. Does the titter test replace venom? So I don't know what the titter test is, but I do know that vaccines are going to be required for your pets to move to Panama. How do you pay someone who does not take a credit card? Do they normally take U.S. check? Checks are not going to work. PayPal's not going to work. So what you can do is you're going to have to go to an ATM in Panama and get some cash so that you can pay in cash. Shirley says, are there still affordable housing available in Panama, and is there more in Volcan? So right now, actually, there is more affordable rentals available in Boquete than there is in Volcan. Now, the rental prices are a little bit cheaper in Volcan when you can find one that's available. But like right now, I know of 4 different houses that are less than $600 a month with all utilities included in the Boquete area. I do not know of one single rental available in Volcan in any price. If your profession is on the list of Panama citizen only jobs, but you don't actually serve people in Panama, can you still maintain a residency. So first of all, you're not going to be able to get the professional residency visa if your profession is on the list of protected professions. That won't work. But you can get one of the other visas, like the pensionado visa or the friendly nation visa. Is there a fee to get a VPN number? So there might be some free VPNs. The one that I use, Nord, I think I pay like $35 or $40 a year. It's not very much. And sometimes they have, if you do 2 year, if you do 1 year, you get 1 year free. So just watch for the discounts. I already answered that question. So, reminder that you have to type in 3 question marks in front of your question, or I won't even know it's a question, because I know there's all kinds of other conversations going on over there. Do you need an address in Panama to get a pensionado visa? So what you're going to need in Panama is you have to show a lease to be able to get your pensionado visa. Let's say you came to Panama and you're going to be here 5 or 6 days to get your visa. Well, you're going to stay in a hotel, or you might stay in an Airbnb in Panama City. You can just get a letter from the hotel that says they're staying here for 5 days. That's good enough for your address in Panama. Joe says, can we get a visa with a real estate purchase over a certain amount? So there is a friendly nation visa that if you buy real estate worth at least $200,000, you can get a friendly nation visa that way. You can also get a friendly nation visa if you just deposit $200,000 into Panama Bank buying a 3-year CD. So you can do it that way too. Can I get Jubilado discounts with a friendly nation visa, women age 55? You can get the Jubilado discounts once you get your permanent visa. Now, this is like for airlines and things like that. They're going to want to see your permanent visa. But if you just go into a restaurant, or if you're going to a pharmacy and things like that, or even a movie theater, and you say Jubilado, por favor, they'll just give it to you, even if you don't have your permanent visa. Or for things like airline discounts, they'll want to see your permanent visa. How do people deal with getting tax docs, ballots, passports, renewals? You can get your passport renewed at the embassy right in Panama City. It takes about 2 weeks turnaround to get that. But tax documents, personally, I hire someone in the United States to do my taxes. He sends me a DocuSign where I sign everything, and then he files electronically. And you can also use something like TurboTax, was another way to file electronically. So you have a lot of options for all of those things. Is it acceptable to take your pet along when shopping in restaurants? No, most places are going to say no pets. Some restaurants will allow pets to be in their outdoor dining area, but not inside. Can I rent a car with a Canadian driver's license after I receive your temporary visa? No, after you receive your temporary visa, you can no longer drive with your foreign driver's license. You'll have to get a Panama driver's license to continue driving, but no driving on your foreign license. If they catch you, they'll impound your car and you'll get a big fine. I speak with little Spanish. Can I get by with speaking English only? So in some areas, like in Coronado or Boquete, you could get by just fine with speaking English only. Of course, if you know a little bit of Spanish, just some, pleasantries like, hello and thank you in Spanish, then that's going to be very much appreciated. But in some areas, you're going to be, even in Panama City, in many places, you're going to do just fine if you only know English. But the more Spanish you learn, the better. Does Panama honor the last will from the U.S., or do you have to create a new one in Panama? So you have to create a new will, and your new living will, all those things have to be recreated in Panama. Your U.S. documents are not valid in Panama. Your immigration attorney, whoever helps you get a visa, they can help you with your will, your living will, and all of those things. Yasser says, do you think Panama is better than Costa Rica and why? I think Panama is much better than Costa Rica because Panama is safer. We don't have as much crime as they do in Costa Rica. Panama doesn't have, they have really expensive electricity in Costa Rica. It's much more affordable electricity in Panama. When I go to Costa Rica, which is, I haven't been there since 2020, I think was the last time I went. But, everybody's worried about crime there, especially in Guanacaste, the area that I go to. So, and even some of the coastal towns. It's beautiful in Costa Rica. It's absolutely beautiful. But I personally wouldn't want to live there. When I first visited Costa Rica back in 2009, and I talked to a lot of different people that lived there, and so many people, this is mostly in the Central Valley, they said that, they were just going to run to the grocery store and back real quick, no problem. But if they wanted to drive from the Central Valley, from Gracia or San Ramon and go into San Jose for the day, they would always have someone stay at their house because they were concerned that it would be broken into. Everybody I talked to had their house broken into at least once or twice. And I don't want to live like that. For the Friendly Nation visa, as a married couple, would you have to invest $200,000 each? So you don't have to invest $200,000 each. You have to invest $200,000 plus, I believe the figure is plus an additional $2,000 for each dependent. So it would be $202,000 for a couple to get a Friendly Nation visa. But you need to verify that with an immigration attorney because sometimes things change. But I believe it's just an extra $2,000. Would most small or medium-sized towns have a school that offers Spanish classes that's very important to me? So not all towns are going to have a Spanish class, but all towns are going to have a Spanish tutor that you could do one-on-one tutoring with someone in Spanish. Is Medicare Advantage accepted even if it's not an emergency? Unfortunately, no. Medicare Advantage is only accepted for urgent care and emergencies. So something's going to send you to the emergency room. That's when Medicare Advantage would be paying for everything 100%, and you don't have to prepay. But keep in mind that the health care in Panama is so cheap. If I need to go to my doctor in Boquete, I don't need an appointment, and it's $15 without insurance. I went to the doctor like 6 months ago to get an ophthalmologist to get my eyes checked and get some new glasses because I have to wear glasses when I'm driving. If you buy glasses at their place and new frames and new glasses, you don't have to pay for the eye exam. So for my new transition lenses, the kind that turn into sunglasses after you're in the sun for a while, new frames, new lenses, ophthalmologist eye exam was $135. So just healthcare is so much more affordable here in Panama. It's another reason why to move to Panama. Are there apartments with amenities and walkable communities in Boquete? So the Bahia Escondido is a community that not in the complex of Bahia Escondido. They do have a spa area where they have a gym, they have an Olympic-sized swimming pool, so that's available there. Also at Los Molinas is a neighborhood about 20 minutes south of Boquete. They have a small swimming pool and they have a gym there also. So some of them do have other amenities there. Do you know of any extracurricular children's theater programs? If so, where? I don't know of any that are available outside of the international schools. Many of the international schools have some kind of a theater program. There's an international school just a little bit south of Boquete, and they put on a beautiful theater program a couple of times a year. I'm sure some of the other international schools do as well, but outside of the school, I don't know of any. I know keeping a U.S. address is necessary for some things. Is the Miami mailing address sufficient? For most things, the Miami mailing address would be all that you would need. So I'm going to take a couple more questions. I can't believe it's been an hour already. So Liz says, can we get a Friendly Nation visa if I incorporate a business and deposit $5,000 in a Panama bank? Yes, you can. We have an article on our website. It's called 4 Ways to Get a Friendly Nation Visa. And the fourth way is that you set up a corporation. The corporation issues you a labor contract. You do have to pay yourself $1,000 a month for at least the first 9 months. And as you're applying as a couple, you have to put $5,000 in a Panama bank account. It takes about 7 business days to get that visa, but it's pretty quick and easy, and it's a whole lot cheaper than spending $200,000 on real estate or $200,000 in a CD. Besides the pensionado visa, that visa is the most affordable visa to get. Are there plans on building a new port in or around Boquete? No, Boquete, there is talk of building a new port in David in the Pedregal area. That's just a little bit south of David, but that's 40 minutes from Boquete. So Boquete is not close to water, so there's no port here. How long do you have before you get a Panama driver's license after you get a pensionado visa? So once you get your pensionado visa, your temporary visa, you don't have to get a driver's license, but at some point, if you want to drive, you have to get a Panama driver's license. But it's not required to get a Panama driver's license. You don't have to unless you want to drive. How long do you have before? So I think I just answered that question. Okay. So I think I've answered most of the questions. If I didn't get to your question, please send an email to info@PanamaRelocationTours.com, and I'll be glad to answer your email answer your question by email. Quick reminder that you need to go, if you haven't already done so, you need to subscribe to, go to our website. This is it, PanamaRelocationTours.com. Go to our website and subscribe to our newsletter. And we're going to give away 3 online Panama relocation guides to some lucky 3 winners. If you have to subscribe before the 20th, we're going to announce the winners on November the 26th. So be watching your emails for who the winners are going to be. Also, we'll send an email to the winner themselves, but we'll announce their names to the general public so you know that everybody, that we really did give away 3 online Panama relocation guide. And that's also going to get you access to our private Facebook group. So I did a big Q&A on Wednesday. We had 505 people on the one on Wednesday, but the questions were rolling up so fast I couldn't possibly get to all of them. So I know I needed to do another one today. So I hope it helped to have 2 Q&As in 1 week to answer some of your questions. And if I didn't get your question, reminder that you need to just send an email to info@Panama Relocation Tours. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thank you so much for being here. Goodbye, everybody.